Day 88, walking 7 kilometres with 7 kilos for men's mental health.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to the Intersect Podcast. We are with Dan the fucking man right here.
Dan the Flying Man.
Dan.
Do you know that? Do you have the little helicopter hat?
There you go, Dan the man.
So-
it is true that all Dans are the man. That's
That's-
accurate.
So for this episode, mate, I'm gonna join you. This is actually the first. This will be the first ever
my
podcast where I go bald, no hat,
Damn, Shave Minds.
shaved minds.
Welcome to Shave Minds.
There you go. Receding hairline in solidarity.
That's right, absolutely. Up the receding hairline. If you don't have it, you should get on it because you have it.
I'm getting there. Somewhere. Kinda.
Bro's finding it.
There's too much hair.
Comb
Dan's
it
trying to
over.
look for it.
Look, I got to be honest. I can't do this podcast without.
Oh yeah, the boys. He's up there. He's with it. Monster. I'm telling you right
Why
now,
don't
you gotta.
Why don't you sponsor us, Monster?
Yeah, mate. Dan, the first question I want to ask you right off the rip is, how are you doing mentally right now?
Oh, yeah. Check you in. Nice. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good, and I say that with the honest feeling of actually being good, because I think in Australia typically we say good, and we don't. There's no depth behind it.
Yeah.
It's just okay, good, yep, and move on. But no, I am good. Look, I'm challenged by a lot of things in life. Family is a big challenge at the moment. But there's certain things that I do every day to put my mental health in a good space. And although the household over the last week has been filled with gastro, it's yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good.
Did you manage to get gastro?
It's no, but it's I'm sure we're going to talk about this coming up, but it's going to be interesting if I'm walking 24 hours and firing at both ends. So
Man,
Mate.
right, all cylinders going.
That's gonna be a challenge in itself.
yes, I'm not really. I'm prepared for a lot of things, but I'm not yet prepared for how I'm going to walk with.
A nappy on.
Yeah, I won't go into too much detail, but yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing this Friday? So
Oh
this-
no, we'll start from the beginning.
All right.
Just straight up. How did you get into the 7 kilometers a day with 7 kilos?
It actually was a very selfish reason. It was post September last year, and this when we talk about mental health, my mental health went down the toilet. Really, it was I was in a place where I just couldn't see, I guess, light at the end of the tunnel. There was a lot of rocks, a lot of big rocks in my life that I was trying to carry, and they were really weighing me down. So I made a decision to take the step and just do something physical. And it was get up, go for a walk, and just do a real simple thing. And it was to pick up a bit of weight and go for a walk every day. And that kind of started mid-October. And I guess I officially started the count at December last year. And it was just purely to to get out of the mindset that I was in. I was a real dark kind of spot, and it only really took a week of doing that to see what was happening in life, all the good things that were around me that I just wasn't seeing. I started to see. So it was it's interesting to think about it now, because it's kind of just like I'm doing it. It's day 88 was today, and I don't give it too much thought at the moment. But as I kind of cast my mind back, it was there was a time there where it was really tough. So it started out of that, and then it's kind of turned into something that I wanted a bit of meaning and symbolism behind it. So the 7 kilos and the 7 kilometres, the 7 symbolises the 7 men we lose to suicide every single day in Australia.
24 hours of walking. Do you have like a straight line or a track, or are you doing loops, or what's the ordeal?
Loops. So it's going to be loops.
Ooh.
It's on the Central Coast here. It's on the beach there, Terrigal. So I just loop around Terrigal. There's about a 4.5K loop that I'll do, and I just loop that it'd be close to about 150K in the 24 hours that I'll get through. So it's going to be both a physical and mental challenge. And going back to, why do it? It's very much out of my comfort zone, and the 24 hours and it's 19 minutes that I will walk. Again, back to symbolism. It's the 2,419 men we lost to suicide in 2023. So it's very much a mental health and suicide campaign, this one. But the walk itself that I do every single day, that's to advocate for men's health in general.
Well, I mean, Jolie said movement is medicine, and it works.
Motion is lotion. Yes.
Motion
Spot
is
on.
lotion.
Some motion requires lotion.
That is true. Some motion.
Spot on.
Yeah, that's right.
Spot on.
So let me just adjust myself here, mate, so you're not seeing me fucking bits.
I've seen that as well. I've seen the pole dancing video.
Apologies.
Was it the moose knuckle?
Yeah, that when you commented that, it killed me. The moose knuckle is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
So we will talk a little bit more about the walk. That was kind of a little introduction for the people. So besides the walk every day, how else do you personally, or what else do you do to help with your mental health on a day-to-day basis?
The walk is very much the keystone of my mental health. For a very long time, I've tried to do things like meditation and breath work and ice baths and saunas and all the things that are very much popularized in the wellness and health space at the moment. The idea behind the walk was just to be very, very simple. So every day that I lay my head down in bed at night, I go, at least I did that one thing.
Yep.
I'm a very, and I've speaking to a lot of men, I think a lot of men are this way as well. I don't think we're giving ourselves enough credit for the things we do.
Yep.
So, and me in particular, I'm a very self-deprecating person. So I'm my own worst enemy. I'll pick myself apart. I'll do all of those things that are very detrimental. And, part of it is, I think it's good to, there's a depth of stoicism there to be a man. But, a lot of it is just very much just pull yourself apart because you're not doing good enough. So, the walk is one thing, but, I try to eat mostly whole food. So mostly a diet of kind of 80% whole food. What else? Exercise. Exercise is a huge one. So outside of walking, I'll get in the gym and lift some weights. Sleeping is another big one. Even though with 2 kids, it's not fantastic sleep. I try and get, to bed at a decent hour and wake up at a decent hour. And then connection with good people, connecting with people, whether it be in person or through social media is another great way to connect to people at the moment. So yeah, there's some of the things, but it's very much something I try and focus on and try to adjust and make it different every single time to how I'm feeling. So
Yeah.
All right. Well said.
Yeah.
I like the connecting or connection part. Yeah, with people. That one. I feel like we've talked a lot about movement and stuff. And
Yeah. Connecting does help. And like because I listened to your episode that dropped today with
Dan Tucker,
Dan, thanks, mate.
10,000s tradie,
Yeah. And you guys were talking about some like good stuff. And when it comes to connection, one of the things that I was thinking about today when I was actually listening to your episode was, if we didn't start this, we wouldn't have met or spoken to some of the amazing people that we've like spoken to. We wouldn't have done pole dancing. We wouldn't have,
maybe we should.
I mean, it's not a bad thing, but hey, we wouldn't have met all the people from the Pilates, which was also a really good turnout, and we now know, and people know of us all over Australia or even all over the globe. Like we've hit 10 countries or something.
Jesus.
So, or yeah, more even, I think. And connection is such a big thing because it allows our community to grow and it allows people to come in and just be able to work off each other, bounce off each other, and just make it like a really, really good surrounding for everyone.
Community.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I'd like to, I guess, say to that as well, because, and I don't want to go kind of down a path, but like one of the longest running studies that they've done at Harvard is around quality of relationships. So it's around longevity and happiness, and the number one determining factor for a long and healthful and happy life is the quality of our relationships. So, when we talk about connection, we often don't. We know how good it feels when we connect with good people, and I think it's been popularized now how detrimental it is to be around people that aren't kind of uplifting and tend to pull us down. So I think it's important to remember, and particularly as men, we don't do it that well. We tend to silo ourselves or lone wolf a lot of things. And, what you're doing on the podcast and reaching out to people and sharing your story and your message, it kind of cuts through the stigma around men reaching out and talking and connecting and, having those quality relationships. And that the same, it's been interesting for me I've been around kind of men's spaces and men's work for about 6-7 years now. And it wasn't until I started walking that like my social media is just blown up in a way, not in terms of likes and followers and any of that. Like for me, I've never had more people in kind of my DMs than I ever had in the last 6 or 7 years, just saying, hey, I come across your account, and just starting a conversation. Like I had a guy last week from the UK just reach out and go, love what you're doing. When you're walking the 24 hours, give me a call on WhatsApp and we can have a chat. Like it's going to be a time difference. So, it might be 2 a.m. in the morning over there, but I can have a chat over here because I'm in the UK. So just things like that. It's like, when I think about it, it's just crazy that there's a lot of detrimental things with social media, but there's so many beautiful things that happen on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that kind of reach is crazy as well, to have like people from the UK reaching out to talk.
It's wild. It's funny how the algorithm works. It's like I've been pegged into this, like my the algorithm has gone from showing me a lot of things that I don't want to talk about on here to it's showing me ultra marathon runners or ultra runners, or it's been showing me people that are doing things every single day. It's been showing a lot of mental health stuff. Like it obviously knows what to do, and it just feeds you what you're doing. So yeah, people it's just wild that people reach out and connect, and yeah, it's just such a powerful thing. And going back, like I said, that study that around the quality of our relationships, it's something I think that we underestimate because we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And as humans, we're social creatures, so we need that social bonding, we need that social interaction, and that's part of like survival. So,
Well, I mean, when someone reaches out from across the world, like not only does that make you feel amazing, but it also shows you that what you're doing is
Working.
is worth it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though, I mean, to you, it is worth it. It's 100% worth it. But to have other people message you from somewhere else, not in Australia, and go, yo, what you're doing is fucking sick. Keep going. Call me. Let's have a chat. And that's it. Like, that must feel amazing.
yeah, it does. It does. I'm walking for a charity for this walk, but the money is great. To get donations is fantastic, but to get people that reach out and connect and just want to have a chat and they spread the message, that for me is far more powerful than, and it's far more important than donations. I think, money will go off and it'll do amazing things, and you can do lots of things with money, but what it comes down to is changing people's perspective around mental health, changes people's perspective around suicide, breaking the stigma around suicide, opening up the conversations that we need to have. And it's uncomfortable conversations. They've turned into very divisive conversations. So yeah, it's very important. And I find it very humbling, for one, that people reach out and want to have a chat. But I always enjoy it when people do, because it opens up the conversation. I can kind of spread the message and keep kind of championing, the importance of men's health.
Yeah. Speaking of uncomfortable conversations, right at the start, you did say that you were struggling back in September. Do you want to speak a little bit about that and what was actually like going on inside your head, and what was getting you down?
Yeah, let's see how much I want to give. I tend to be an open book, so I don't mind talking about everything, but I'm very conscious when it comes to being protective of my family as well.
Absolutely.
And my family's privacy.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
I'll see if I can talk to it, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, there's a lot going on in family life. A lot of challenges with my daughter, who's about 8.5, and it's been a constant kind of health challenge over the last 2 years to get her into a spot where she's well.
Yeah.
So that's taken a huge toll on both my wife and I, and it's often we take the smallest steps forward, and then it's 10 steps backwards, and then we have to start again from this spot. So that was kind of one of the dominoes that fell, and the other, and I don't think it was a huge domino that fell, but it was after 2.5 years of not drinking alcohol, I decided to drink alcohol again. And part of it was a celebration, and there was, I guess, nothing untoward around it. But I just noticed then the wheels started falling off in other aspects of life. So I stopped exercising as much. I stopped eating, good food. My sleep started to get disrupted. So all of a sudden, all of these things become exponentially harder to do. So it was challenging, and it was just the constant kind of grind of having to do the same thing over and over again, day in, day out. And I just didn't know how much longer I could go. Like I said, I was happy to keep going forward, but I just couldn't see the end. And when you ever feel like that, and I guess when I felt like that, it was just, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel stuck. I feel lost.
You run out of options.
Yeah, you just, like, I just felt like I don't know, I'm doing the same thing and nothing's changing. And I guess that's the definition. I've got mood lighting here now. Not sure what's going on.
We're just getting right into it. Your camera already knows.
It's a definition of insanity, right? Like, you're doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But by the same token, I didn't know what I could be doing different. So I turned into not self-destructive mode, but I was like, well, there's no kind of point anymore. What I was doing wasn't working. I was doing all the good things, and that didn't work. So I guess, try to switch off and enjoy what's going on. And, that just put me in a spot that I didn't want to be in. So,
yeah. How, not going into detail, but how is your daughter doing now?
Yeah, every day still, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. So, yeah, it's a battle. And, it's a roller coaster. One day we'll have a really good day, and then the next day it'll be a really bad day. So,
yeah.
And it's just, what I've kind of, I focus on most is, how can I continue to show up?
Yep.
And that was part of the reason I started walking. It's like it was actually a conversation I had with a mate who's about 10 years older than me. And he basically said, just stop drinking alcohol. And from today, you go home as the man that your wife fell in love with. And I was like, shit, that's a good piece of advice, because it sent me back to that point of, like, who was I when my wife met me? And I was certainly a less stressed man. I was a more humorous man, more playful man. And those are the kind of the things I brought into the home. And those are also the things I can control. A lot of the challenges around what my daughter's facing and going through, there's not too much I can do with that. But what I can do is be in a spot where I'm capable of holding kind of what she's going through.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mentally or physically in a good spot to do that, then, it's like, her jumping in the ocean and she can't swim, and then me jumping in and I can't swim. Now we're both drowning. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
solid.
It's fucking horrible. And as a father that has 3 daughters, I genuinely couldn't imagine like dealing with something like that on a daily basis. And I hope soon everything becomes good and everything just is a nice smooth sail. But yeah, it's horrible. It's shit when it comes to kids, like, and you can't do anything about it. Yeah, you just fall into a hole, like you're nothing.
Helpless is the word that is.
Helpless.
It said, like, and there's no worse spot to be in when you feel helpless, because it's like, I can't do anything for you. Like, there's nothing I can do. So, and that's what that's what I just had, like, and I keep going back to it. But like, what can I do for me?
Yeah.
That hopefully will help her or hopefully will be able to take a little bit, it'll give her it'll just give her something, if I'm less stressed, then it's going to be better. If I'm, not angry, it's going to be better. If I'm in a healthful kind of position, it's going to be better. So, but yeah, it's, having kids is a real wild one. It's just one of those things that, I remember I heard it said that, having kids is basically watching your heart run around outside your body. And it's like, that's exactly how it is. It's like, yeah.
What's been the hardest part of this whole walk so far from the start?
I think the hardest part was at the beginning. The hardest part was at the beginning and just starting and getting into a routine and just consistently doing it and then trying to fit it in around family life as well.
Yeah.
I remember it was day 2 that I did it, and I started the walk and I couldn't finish the 7 kilometers. I had to be somewhere at that time. And in my head, I'm like, I failed. I didn't do it. I didn't do the 7 kilometers. But I had to, after kind of going, no, hang on, that's a bit silly. Like, the idea was just to do 7 kilometers a day, just do the rest of the 7 kilometers later. So I was just getting my head around that, and then just getting into, a routine, a rhythm. And now it's kind of just part of what I do. The hardest part now is actually remembering the importance of why I did it. So it's not just become another thing. So continue to give it the reverence that it deserves, and reminding myself that, hey, you don't, stop listening to podcasts, stop looking at your phone, go and walk and be in silence and be with yourself, and just using it as the tool that I, the mental health tool that I need it to be. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Do you do you know no music on the walk or anything?
No, I don't. I don't raw dog it. I don't raw dog it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I do have. It varies. So there'll be plenty of days where I get out there and I just need to tune off. So I'll have nothing and I'll just walk in silence. It'll be darkness most of the time, and I'll just kind of enjoy that. But other days I'll plug in, I'll put one of your podcasts on and listen to that, or I'll put some music on, which I know you guys have talked about, music being therapy. And yeah, just kind of just tune into what I'm listening to and just enjoy the walk. But yeah, I find it very difficult to sit in silence or even to walk in silence. So I just kind of pick and choose moments of the walk often, and just kind of have no music and just focus on breathing and what's around me, and yeah, just go from there. But yeah, I certainly don't raw dog it. I'm not. That's David Goggins level if you're going to go out and do that. So
Who's going to go to the boats?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been working for myself now for 2 years, and like doing work without nothing, like raw dogging work, sucks. And it just gets to a point where it's like white noise, or like your brain just starts creating
hearing the flies,
some kind of
buzzing.
noise. Yeah. And then you're like, nah, I need to chuck some fucking, I'm about to go nuts.
yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's so easy to distract ourselves now because we've got access. Like, I mean, radio's been around a long time, especially if you work in workshops and things like that. You plug a radio in and go for it. But yeah, I think it's important to, to use the tools that you do have. So, if you're going to listen to a podcast, don't just do it mindlessly. If you're going to want to learn something. If you want it to be a humorous podcast because you want to have a laugh, then, go and do that. Then if it's music, put in something that, you want to feel and it maybe uplifting, or maybe you feel sad and you just want to feel those feelings. And yeah, I think there's still a lot of opportunity to sit in silence, or to do work in silence. But yeah, to do it all the time, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Just a quick little side question, and this is Australia based only. When you go on walks, what's the best podcast that you listen to? The one that you go straight to on your walks? It might start with I. I'm not sure. That's obviously personal opinion.
I'm trying to think of another podcast that starts with I, but I couldn't. But it's always the Intersect Podcast.
Well,
always.
there you go, folks. I'm just
Always.
Dan's already spoken.
That hurt me so much.
I'm sorry. No, so when it comes to mental health, you're like obviously doing this for men's like mental health and well-being. Has there ever been a time in your life that you haven't spoken up when you know you should have?
Oh, I tell you a number of stories. I think that the best story to kind of encapsulate what it's like for a man not to speak up. So it was actually a week after my daughter was born, and I started to get the chills. So we were at home, my daughter was sleeping, and I started to get the chills, like I was shaking uncontrollably. And I was like, okay, I'll go and have a warm shower to warm up and to see what's going on there. And I was in the shower, letting the water kind of run over me, and all of a sudden I just buckled and just started shaking uncontrollable in the fetal position, just like a dildo flopping around on the floor. And just tears just streaming. And that probably lasted about 5 minutes. And I was like, kind of stood up, finished my shower, dried myself, thought, what the fuck was that? And then didn't speak about it for like 2 years until it come up in conversation with my wife. And what that was, it was as a result of, I guess, suppressed emotion, suppressed feelings, all these just everything that was shoved and bottled down for, I think my daughter was born when I was about 33. So for 33 years, everything kind of was bottled down, and then all of a sudden the champagne, the cork popped off, and that was the result of it. And that was a great reminder for me to start opening up and talking about things. And you'd think I would have learnt that lesson, but I didn't. And I didn't learn that lesson again. So that was 2016. I didn't learn that lesson again until 3 years later in 2019, when my wife and I ended up in couples counselling. And one of the biggest pieces around that was through lack of communication. So,
yeah, that's opening up. And so when you were in the shower looking like a dildo, was that an anxiety attack?
I don't know what it was. I've never had anything like that since. I'd never had anything like that beforehand. But there's a knowing inside me that it was a result of just suppressed emotions finally being able to release itself.
Yeah.
I've done several breathwork kind of journeys where I've felt, I guess, a similar expression, but nothing like that. So, yeah, I don't know whether it was an anxiety attack or what, but it was.
It was horrible, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah, it's probably typical of most men, really. And I'm not saying all men kind of experience that particular thing, but it can come in any form of expression. Men typically express through anger. Anger is a great release of emotion, but it can often be misguided and misdirected, and land on probably those closest to us, unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of those things that, and I'm not saying that we need to talk about every single thing and our feelings, but it's, if you feel like you need to talk to someone, if you're, one of those kind of people that bottles up stuff like I did, then yeah, reach out to someone. It doesn't have to be a therapist, but a close mate, your partner,
Well,
someone that you think that will listen to you.
Perfect example is yesterday I had a very, very, very close friend call me, and I know that he's been going through stuff for the past few months, and he called me, and just as soon as I answered the phone, I just heard like sobbing, right, just crying, and I was like, you better not be fucking pulling the piss, cunt, because boy who cried wolf. If you fucking do this more than once, I'm just gonna fucking hang up. But no, it was a genuine. He was just crying, and he goes, I don't know what to do. Like I just want to talk. I don't want to like just sit here and fucking beat around the bush, and I just want you to be an ear, right? And after about 20 minutes of just saying everything that has just been on his mind for the past year, he goes, damn, maybe opening up does actually work, because I feel fucking 10 times better. And it's I don't know if you watched or listened to any of the earlier ones, but Gaz made a reference of slowly unpacking your backpack.
Yeah, right.
And this is what I said to him. I was like, I mean, he's been telling me about the things, but not in depth, just a general, this is what's going on type thing, like a conversation. But yeah, this one was just like in depth, told me everything. And he's like, look, everything that I just said is obviously like, it makes me feel like shit to say, but it just made him feel 10 times better. Hey, and it was a good reflection on what we're doing, because opening up can genuinely make you feel heaps better, even if it's just for a short period of time. And then for the future, just doing these like little things,
Micro movements.
yeah, with a mate can just help mentally in so many ways.
Yeah, I think it's such an important thing to share, because it wasn't until I got around kind of men's groups and men's spaces that I realized that most men are like this.
Yeah.
And as soon as you open up, it kind of opens the door for other people to open up.
Yep.
And like, I don't want to go too much. There's a lot to be said around kind of men's spaces and men's circles and kind of men's work and things like that. There's a lot that I don't like with it. But one of the things I do like with it is allowing men to share. Yeah. And normalize, the way they feel and, the experience that they're having at the moment. And yeah, you realize that, oh, fuck, I'm not the only one that thinks this way or is going through that, or, my experience is, mine, but it's very similar to that guy's experience, and it kind of normalizes a lot of things. So, yeah, I think it's important for men to understand that it's not it's not a weak thing to do to speak up and to shed a tear as well. I think there's a lot of men in my life that have called me and shed a tear, or sent me a voice note and shed a tear. So yeah, very important.
I mean, I feel like it should just be able to feel like boys talking, just sitting there, or fucking, I mean, probably not going to the pub because alcohol is probably not the best thing, but just going for a walk and just talking absolute fucking mad shit, opening up, and then you both leave and that's it. Like there's no there's no emotional attachment behind the things that they say. It's just two boys talking, getting their shit out, and then that's it. But a lot of the time, I think men experience other friends showing an emotion of like, I don't know what to fucking do here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for socially and culturally around how we respond to men opening up. To tell them to man up or get over it, or
Yeah,
I had that same thing. You just kind of push on. But yeah, I think that's just men kind of. It is social and cultural conditioning, but it's like men want to fix. We want to be able to fix the problem and kind of solve it for them. And it's like it's a helpless feeling when another man comes to you and goes, hey, I'm going through this. Like, my wife wants a divorce. Like, what the fuck do I do? Like, if you've never experienced anything like that or don't understand it, it's like, well, okay, sorry, mate. Like,
yeah,
you don't really know what to do. But like, all really, like, you just have to have a compassionate ear and just listen. Let the other guy talk, and hey, I'm here if you need to have a chat, mate, and that's it, kind of thing. I think there's no need to overcomplicate, and I think that's going back to the detrimental things around men's spaces. I think there's an overcomplication of needing to fix people and kind of get to the deeper kind of what trauma have you been through, let's solve that, and go through this whole kind of cycle of things. And it's like, it's often not that deep.
yeah.
It's just, hey, I just need to share this with someone, I need to land it on someone.
Well, I think, see, that gets me thinking, because it's all good and well to say, hey, open up, talk about your feelings, but it's also very important to say, hey, open your fucking ears and listen. Right? Because like, you can encourage men to open up and they can open up, but then in most cases it's going to get to a point where they go like, I'm opening up, what's going on? Why isn't what they say?
Why don't I feel like I'm being heard?
Yeah. So, open your fucking ears sometimes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely.
Look, you've actually touched on a massive issue that is, for the last kind of couple of years, I've been deep down the rabbit hole of men's advocacy and helping men, and that's one of the biggest, I guess, things men have to say is that you want us to open up, you want us to talk. But as soon as we do, you either don't listen to us or nothing changes. I think there's a quote that I've heard recently is, women are seen as having problems, men are seen as being the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, when society looks at a man like that, it's like, what can a man do? It's like, there's nothing we can do that is right. And I'm not crying kind of poor me, like, look at me, we've got a lot of problems as men. But let's go back to the statistics. Suicide is the top killer among men 18 to 55.
Yep.
Like, something's going on there. Like, we're not doing something right.
And majority of the time it's shit to say, but it's not men like making that, but it's like, if men try to open up and they're not being heard, then they're just going to push their emotions down even more. So then it comes to the point where they go, well, I can't see a future. And then it happens, which is fucking horrible.
Yeah. It's it's again deep in the weeds around suicide and the research around suicide, and it's such a multifaceted issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons, and it's such an unfortunate thing, because we want men to be able to open up and talk, but we're treating them then when they do it. Like, I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but again, the algorithm feeds me so much stuff where there's men that don't even feel like they can open up to their partners
Yeah.
because, as soon as I open up to my partner, I'm seen as weak. And it's like, I don't, are we doing, as men, like it is a genuine kind of question to everyone, like as men, are we doing that to ourselves or like what? Because I don't experience that with my partner. So
See, I'm exactly the same. I don't experience that with my wife because I've allowed this, like, communication is key into our relationship. And I mean, mind you, and we were actually having this conversation last night where, like, there's been times where I've said, like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and majority of the time it's like money, because like money is a massive thing to do with our lives, right? And I'll say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And what she did the next day, I jumped online and she like chucked our dryer up for sale. She chucked heaps of her shit up for sale. And I was like, what the fuck? You didn't have to do that. Like, that's not what I was talking about. I was just saying, like, this is what I'm struggling with. Like, if I seem like I'm off or I'm not my normal self, like, this is what's playing on in my head. And she was like, oh shit, I was just trying to help. I was trying to give you the solution. And I was like, that's not what I was talking about.
Not a solution.
So, and it was the same thing with my mate, like yesterday. He was going, I try and open up, but then because there's emotional attachment behind it, she thinks that she's the issue, and then he has to push his things down in order to make her feel good. Which, I mean, I think in a relationship, if you want to be heard, then you need to establish that, hey, I'm going to talk about these feelings. I just want you to be an ear. So I actually watched a video the other day where this fella said, my wife comes to me, and before she even says anything, she asks me two questions. She says, or she states, I just either want you to be an ear or I want you to give me the solution. Because like you said, as most men, they want to fix the issue. Like, if my wife comes to me and goes, I have a headache, I'm going to go, have you drunken much water? Right? So that aircon is fucking cold. Are you cold?
I'm frozen.
Can you turn that fucking...
Frozen?
I'm shaking my whole off right now.
You put it on 20 degrees.
It's fucking cold. Holy
no wonder
fuck.
it's freezing.
I need a jumper.
Oh my god. I've been sitting here like holding steady like...
You should have said so, because I've been looking at that aircon remote. I'm like, fucking...
I looked over a couple times, I was like, it's too far, I can't make it.
Yeah, so it's like, I think you need to establish, like, not like right at the start of the relationship, but I think you need to talk and make sure that communication is key, because, I mean, if there's no talks about it with your significant other, then as soon as you come out and talk about it, she's going to be like, or he, I mean, I'm just saying.
Wait, look at me.
We...
All right,
The shirt,
cool.
man.
All right, sorry.
Shirt.
I wear the wrong shirt today.
Like, you know, it's like you need to be able to open up and talk about it without them just going, oh shit, I don't know what the fuck to do, or going about it a different way. Like, there needs to be some communication. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like I said earlier, that's how I ended up in couples therapy. So,
Yeah. Do you now feel confident that you can talk to your partner, like, freely?
yeah, look, it's funny. The very first, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 2019 was the very first session. And I remember sitting there thinking, I'm so scared to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like, if I tell the truth here, like, my wife will leave me. And we'd been together for that sake. We'd been married 3 years, together 10 years, or close to 10 years. And it was like I had this, like, and it was like a crazy, just, there was no evidence behind it, that if I tell the truth, if I say how I'm feeling, if I express how I'm feeling, that she's just going to decide to leave me. And that wasn't because we were sitting in couples therapy that there was a chance of that happening. It was before that. It was like I was taking all this kind of these thoughts in there of like, well, I can't be myself,
Yeah.
which is such a ridiculous thing because she's married me for me,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to hold me back. So yeah, just a real odd. I don't know. It's how do you explain that as a man
Well,
to other people that
Yeah, I know the feeling because this is going to sidetrack, but then it's going to come back. So I had, and most of you, if you've listened, I had a dream that my wife, right? Not in a very aggressive way, but like it was, I'll tell a story for all the new people. Welcome. Hey. I was on my computer. I had the headphones in just like what you have. And she came up behind me and gave me a hug. And then within a split moment, her hands were tangled in. I went to her and she was wearing the headphones. And I gave her a hug. And within a split second, my arms were just tangled in these headphones. And I couldn't get them out without snapping her neck. And it was a fucking horrible dream for me. And I've never had a dream like that before. So from that moment on, this was before our wedding, I think 6 months or a year before our wedding. For a whole year, I was every day having anxiety attacks, every day just obsessing, like what Liam says. I was having compulsions of obsessive compulsive disorder about this dream, thinking, what if, oh my God, this is going to happen. And I first opened up about it to my wife's mum because it was just getting too much. Like I felt like I was going insane. And as soon as I started talking, I started crying. And then this was probably like a week later, I told my wife. And I was so fucking scared that she was going to go, what? Ew, you're a psycho. I'm leaving you. That's disgusting. See you later. Bye. And it was for 8 months, just this what if thought in my head. And then if I tell her, she's going to leave me.
Yeah, wow.
It was wild. It was such a shit thing. But I think going through that and then knowing, because I even wrote that dream down on a piece of paper because I was like, I heard somewhere if you write your thoughts down, it helps you. And I soon burnt that piece of paper pretty well straight away because I didn't want anyone to see, oh shit, I murdered my wife. But fucking phones. Yeah, I and now when I bring it up, like it's just, she kind of just laughs at it and goes, you should have just told me like straight away. And then it would have been it. Like I wouldn't have gone down this hole of obsessed dreaming thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Did your wife say that was fairly normal and she dreamed about killing you every other night anyway? So
She does, and that's the thing. She's a fucking weirdo, and she has these weird dreams of me killing her in her dreams.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, you guys aren't
There you
stable.
go.
We're very stable, man. All right, we're very healthy. This is healthy, normal relationship
Like
stuff.
I'm scared for those kids.
No, she's she has very, very weird dreams. But I mean, she has a super traumatic past, so I think that's like not a coping mechanism. But I mean, she doesn't have them anymore, but she used to. But yeah, she like as she said, I tell you all my dreams, all my fucked up dreams, and that's child's play compared to the shit that I've dreamt about. And I was like,
Yeah, wow.
all right, fucking Dharma, relax. You need to chill out for a second. But yeah, no, I know the thoughts that you were definitely going through because it was one of the main things that I was scared of just like telling her and then her going, all right, that's weird, bye.
Yeah, it's just a great reminder, right? That it's communication is so important in relationships,
Yeah.
and if you can't communicate openly in your relationship, then the best thing we could do was couples therapy. So I recommend that to anyone. Couples therapy before you get married, couples therapy during your marriage, because we were at the point where we needed
Yeah.
kind of couples therapy. So for a piece of advice, yeah, kind of cut out that part and kind of do the pre work that you need to do. So.
Yeah.
Can we go to couples therapy?
I was legit about to say we should go. He's a fucking asshole to me, man. What do I do with this?
Oh, just man up.
Proceed.
Eat some concrete, you reckon?
Teaspoon.
That's
of
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, mate, what would be one key piece of advice that you could give to someone listening or struggling right now?
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
I like it. That's very simple.
Yeah. Very
Keep
simple.
it simple.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's in a world of so much information and so many things that you can do around health and wellness and mental health, and it's an overload. And when you are in that position and feel overwhelmed, trying to listen to all of that stuff is extremely difficult. So keep it simple. So what do you need? What's the easiest thing that you can do today? And I think for a man, something physical, pick that. But for anyone else, it's like just pick something that is just so simple that you can do and commit to doing it and just do that. And that's why I ended up picking up 7 kilos and walking 7 kilometers. And it's been the best kind of decision that I've ever made. So
I bet you're ripped as, hey.
do you want to say?
Please.
One bald man to another bald man.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. That's
I
funny.
know my worth and you have to pay for it. So.
That's right. There is a paywall if you want to see that. Go over to patreon.com/. No, I'm joking.
Subscribe and only feed.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, look, let's be honest. I like food, and
Yeah.
and walking's not super great for
Weight loss.
getting ripped. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not as great as I would hope it to be. But to counter, I like food anyway. So just circling back to that. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, so getting to food, right? And also this 24-hour walk. What do you plan on eating? If you don't have gastro, because that would fucking suck. But what do you plan on eating, drinking, all that type of stuff? Because 24 hours is a long time, and 150 kilometers, that's a lot.
yeah, I consulted a number of ultra marathon runners around this, and I'm just going to consume gels for 24 hours.
Really?
No,
Okay, good.
I was like,
'Cause
no way.
That would have fucking sucked.
no. Pickle juice and sweet potato.
Yeah. Get that sodium in.
Also a no. No, look, I consulted the god Chat GBT, and
He's the best. He's the best. You can't go wrong.
well, to be fair, it's drawn me up a whole plan, so it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's I kind of plugged in all the things that I enjoy eating, and then just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Tap into what everybody else has kind of done in the endurance race world, and yeah, it pulled me out a whole bunch of different stuff. So it's going to be everything from kind of protein shakes to rice cakes to chicken wraps to bone broth to coconut water, electrolytes. There's so many things in there. I don't know how I'm going to consume kind of all the food, but it's a pretty solid plan, and I broke it down into kind of every hour or every 2 hours, and yeah, the whole plan is there. So
Amazing.
Are you stopping for that, or are you walking eating?
walking, eating, yeah.
Gee.
24 hours.
Do you have some high quality shoes at least? Crocs?
Crocs.
Well, there's that marathon runner that's doing it in Crocs now, so maybe.
He probably has a spoiler and some exhaust attached to.
I'm wearing those for our little obstacle course, by the way.
Yeah.
There's so much crap.
Yeah,
on
what kind of shoes are you running?
And then there's the barefoot runner that ran across Australia, I think, as well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did see that.
it.
Yes.
What about the Catman?
Yeah,
Catman?
So I do have. So It's an interesting one because I'm part of the wellness space believes not wearing a lot of the endurance shoes now because they're not designed for your feet, basically. So they're more detrimental than beneficial. I'm kind of in the camp of a bit of both. So I've got 2 pairs of shoes. One's a barefoot shoe that I'll walk around in, and the other's a New Balance, so an endurance shoe.
Yep.
But I was walking for most of the 7K walks with shoes that were about 13 years old. So some Nike free runners.
Nice.
And I wore a hole in those. So
Yeah.
I was well committed to those shoes.
Hey, well, I mean, since you've done the Monster Energy email, I think it's my due diligence to email Nike and get a sponsorship going for you.
Mate, that's only fair. That's right.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I'm so dirty about that. They came back with a very average response as well.
It was so funny.
Well, what did they do?
Did I not tell you about the email? Oh shit.
No.
Dan sent Monster an email on behalf of us to get a sponsor,
Oh my god.
right? And this is what he said. I fucking lost it when I was reading that. I'm pretty sure I said, "Did you actually send that?"
Yeah.
He said, where was it? Yeah.
You won't be able to find it.
No, I found it. Dear Monster Energy team, first off, I appreciate. Oh no, that was the response. This one. Hey Monster Energy team, I hope this email finds you well and fully caffeinated. I want to throw a bit of a wild card your way, one that might make you laugh, raise an eyebrow, or at least make you wonder who let this guy near a keyboard.
Good start. Good start.
Perfect opening. I'm reaching out on behalf of the Intersect Podcast, a mental health and well-being podcast that believes you can laugh even in life's darkest moments. We talk about resilience, struggle, and mental health, except we do it with a good dose of banter and the kind of energy that may or may not be fueled by copious amount of caffeine. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mental health, Monster Energy, bit of an odd pairing. It is perfect. But hear me out. Our show is all about smashing stereotypes, just like Monster has done in energy drink world. We don't whisper about mental health. We tackle it head on with honesty, humor, and the kind of chaos that feels oddly familiar chugging a can of Monster. That was at 2 a.m.
Well. That's not bad. I'll give you that. You're a man of fancy words.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they didn't even give us a free carton of Monster.
Yeah, I had to go out and buy that, which was pretty pathetic, to be honest. I want a refund, to be honest.
The only time I've ever had those is when I'm in UA.
Yeah, they're good, eh?
I mean,
I've got to be honest, this is the first one I've had in maybe, 10 years.
not gonna lie, when you cracked it, I was like, there's no way you're into those as well. I was like, I know this guy loves them and is addicted. I was like, there's no way you're as well.
Yeah, no, they are amazing. Now, last question, Big Dan.
I've got
Okay.
5 questions. Not really. It's one question. 5 things to improve your mood. What do you do?
Yep.
Fucking.
Look,
Sorry.
I'm not going to be as crass as that. No, it's such a good answer. Look, but that lasts about 2 minutes and improves my mood for about 2 minutes. So, look,
Same.
I want something a bit more long lasting than that, and it certainly doesn't improve my wife's mood. So, what have we got? Exercise has to be there. Exercise, sunlight, the beach, time with kids and family,
Ooh.
Good one.
and coffee.
Hey.
Caffeine.
I think coffee, exercise, and fucking are the most common ones.
Yeah. Well, they're a
Yeah.
very quick stimulant, especially for men. We're very easily pleased, especially when it comes to fucking.
Please you.
All right, now last question. Sorry, mate. We're just absolutely fucking taking your time here, but
No, all good.
en-
good.
entertainment when it comes for this 24-hour walk, or what do you got?
What have I got?
Reading old texts.
God.
Calling all my ex-girlfriends and apologising,
Jesus.
getting
You're gonna go, like,
uncomfortable.
full, David Goggins spec and just put that one song on loop for 24 hours.
The Rocky song, yeah.
Yeah, that's one Rocky.
Yeah.
No, look, it's going to be a combination. So much like the walks that I have. So there might be some podcasts on, there might be some music on, there'll definitely be some silence. But I've also got a huge number of people that have reached out and wanted to walk as well with me. So I got that guy that actually gave me the kick up the bum and gave me a piece of advice kind of in October, November. He's committed to walk 8 hours with me. So, we'll be having a good chat. There's a local member of parliament that's going to start the walk with me. So I'm going to ask him a lot about men's health and mental health, particularly in our area. But yeah, I've had a couple of mates, I've had a couple of strangers reach out. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting walk.
That's awesome, man. That's so fucking sick to hear. And I was thinking on the way over, I want to drop a little. This won't go in because this will be a little surprise. But as long as you want to, I was thinking after you've done the 24 hours, we could do a little like post little podcast to get your thoughts on how fucking shit it was.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon that'd be sick. Plus, also, I was thinking on the Friday. So when are you starting this? It's
Friday 4 p.m.
So Friday in the afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
I
Saturday.
started like 6 in the morning. Not 4 in the afternoon. You're
Nah,
getting-
I reckon.
Nah, think about it though, because you got to carry through the hardest part of the night.
Which is
That's going to be the hardest part.
and you want to do that right at the start. I agree.
Yeah, but then you've already been awake for like 12 hours.
No, well then you sleep the night before until whenever, and then you've got.
It must be nice so you can sleep in. Fucking Grams over here.
Yeah, I know.
But I've got 2 kids. I don't know what sleep is. So
Fair.
Yeah.
I have a question that the comments actually asked, and it was a couple episodes ago. But for those that don't know, why are you bold?
why am I bold?
Yeah.
Good question. I actually got a rare skin disease when I was 15, and I decided to chop off my hair.
Do you feel better about yourself now, you bitch?
Well, no, they asked you that question, so I have to ask everyone this question now.
So everyone that's bald, you got to ask.
Well, I'm not going to ask someone with hair, why are you bold? Doesn't work, does it?
Dan, mate, thank you.
Thank you for your
so
time.
much. Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, a couple questions.
All right.
Fire.
Why do you have hair? JP.
Believe it or not, I was born like this. I've always had long hair.
Your mum must have
Full
had
head of
like
hair.
bad acid reflux.
Terrible.
Yeah. Hairballs.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Was that the only one?
nice. Oh, yeah, I haven't got any questions.
Yeah. Perfect.
Fucking hell.
No.
I love it.
No.
You were so prepared, like shit, locking in.
I was like, yeah, fucking roast this bitch.
No, I'm chuffed, guys, for having a chat and having me on. So, you know, it was a slow start for me. So I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm still nervous now. So
Tell you what, you played it off very well. You come across very, onto
Now,
it.
I don't know if that's the paleness from the light behind you or if that's just your skin complexion, but I didn't tell at all that you were super pale.
pale
look
and
like an
nervous.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking at myself
can't
on
not
this
look at
side,
it.
and my head looks fucking tiny.
The whole time at the start, you see me like half giggle occasionally, because every time I look at the screen, I see in your head, and I was like, I couldn't do
It looks fucked. It
You look
looks
like an
fucked.
I don't know how you've kept a straight face this whole time, Dan. It's impossible.
Composure. Got to be composed. Oh, mate.
Also, I don't like that our shelf looks crooked. I've been looking at it so long. Like, why does it look like that?
Now that you've pointed it out, I mean, I was super self-conscious about it. Now I just look like fucking
It's like
Eggman off Sonic.
Like
No, not the shelf. Me.
Oh, yeah, no, you look horrible.
I look like Eggman off fucking Sonic.
Yeah.
All I need is a big fucking mo. But no, thank you, Dan. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks for agreeing to do this absolute fucking weird ass podcast with two weird ass fucking blokes and someone that has a head like this.
Sorry, the heat's getting to him.
No, it's all good. It's been fun. And yeah, is the self-deprecation and comparison, mate. You do awesome, and like I said, I enjoy listening to you guys. So it's real, and that's what it's about. So
No, you've been honestly, genuinely so amazing to talk to over the last however many months that we've been boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's been really good to actually finally meet you over the camera,
Over the screen.
over the screen.
yeah, we'll get it in person one day.
Absolutely, it'll be good. Now, where can these people go to for the fundraiser and the donations, and also your social media?
I didn't know we were still recording. Yeah, cool. Good one. Nice. Well, bloke in the middle on Instagram is my handle, and there is a link in my bio that'll send you to my OnlyFans page.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's funny how ripped he
What?
is.
My TonlyFans page. Just my feet pics.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, I
Let's
can't wait
dive
to see
into
them
that.
after this 24-hour walk.
Yeah.
Oh,
There'll be high price. People will want to pay for those.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
keep your socks.
That's it. No, you can donate to on that bio. It all goes to Spoke to a Bloke, who does awesome things for men's mental health and suicide. But like I said through the chat, the most important thing is just for me, if you just get out there, go for a walk, or reach out to someone, connect to someone, ask if someone's okay, and yeah, just have those conversations, because that for me is the most important thing that we can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's change the stigma of mental health together, mate. All of us in Australia need to come together and do this absolutely amazing thing for everyone.
Mate,
Good.
well said.
So, thanks, mate. Yeah. JP, email?
Email, intersect.podcast.
No.
Sorry. Intersect.pod24@hotmail.com.
I'm glad Dan gets to see the behind the scenes of this fucking bullshit.
Don't fucking start. I'll have ya.
All right, mate.